The Sirens of Borderlands are these uber-powerful women with extraordinary abilities. For example, you have Lilith, who can phase walk herself and others. You have Maya, who can phase lock enemies. Amara, who can phase punch stuff with a phase fist. And Angel, who can phase shift and communicate through technology. But until Borderlands 3, we really didn't have much information about them, and as it turned out, the one concrete thing we actually knew turned out to be false. You see, in Borderlands 2, we learned that there are a total of 6 sirens in the galaxy, and by the end of 3, we know each and every one. But that was wrong. There aren't 6 sirens, at least not anymore, and we learn this from logs left behind by a siren that has been long deceased and might just have the answer to where we'll go in the next installments of Borderlands.
You who hears me, eons after my time, I have set these words down, even as my mind fractures under the weight of what I have done. Find my words and remember their truths in my place, for I am the one who put the Destroyer in its chains. I am the one who murdered the Iridians. I am Nyriad.
Nyriad is a siren. According to her, she is the one that, long before our time, imprisoned the Destroyer, killed the Iridians, and set in motion the events of the franchise long before we even existed. Her logs are spread throughout the planets of the Borderlands, and they cover her history, the history of the vaults, and most importantly, the sirens. Now, there are many of these logs, and they cover a variety of topics, and they honestly really deserve a video of their own, but for now, I only want to focus on one that could have a major implication for the future of Borderlands, and it comes as the last log we receive after gathering all the others.
You know now all that I know. This was an epitaph, not for myself, but for the world I knew. I have brought ruin to the sirens, murdered the Iridians, and imprisoned a primordial force of the universe. Perhaps I have earned your hatred, or your sympathy. But that is not why I write these words. I have told you the truth, no matter its hard edges. Before I can put my fractured mind to rest, I must pass one more warning. You must never find the seventh.
Now, before we get into why this message is important, there are a few things we all must understand. First off, Borderlands 3 was about the vaults and the sirens. The villains were sirens. We opened numerous vaults. Our allies were sirens. We got siren lore. We got vault lore. And the only reason Gearbox would be doing this is if they had a plan. And this plan, at least to me, has been carefully laid out through logs left by Nyriad and Typhon de Leon, the first Vault Hunter. Now, on the surface, the Typhon logs, and by some extent the Nyriad logs, are a way to branch out the lore of the franchise, but when you look at it, and I mean you really look at it, there is an intertwined timeline of events that draw a circle. Now, before I go any further, spoilers for Borderlands 3. If you don't want spoilers for the game, go finish it and then come back. But to start, let's look at the logs left by Nyriad. She states that after she imprisoned the Destroyer, she wanted to lock away her essence within a vault so that when she dies, no person can ever inherit her power, and no one else can become a leech.
When my atrocity was complete and I returned home, I found no family to rejoin. The others had fled. Our braid was unraveled. My sisters scattered to the stars. But they left me a parting gift. They told me where to die, that my thread might never be picked up again. When I have written my last, I will go back to the Iridian world, to the vault there. Oh, I hope it works. This would be a brighter universe without a leech.
Now, if you fast forward many years later, we find a Typhon log that references him having sex in a vault.
Well, we licked that vault monster real good, and it was a tough one. 7 heads. What'll they think of next? And then we go into the vault, and Leda says, Typhon, come here, baby. And I do. And I ain't gonna record what happened next.
And later, we find out that Troy and Tyrene Calypso were, in fact, the children of DeLeon, and that they were conceived in a vault. So if you put 2 and 2 together, the Calypsos were created in the same vault that Nyriad stored her power in, and since Nyriad spoke of her power being that of a leech, and we see the Calypsos leeching from anything and everything, it's safe to assume her power is now theirs. Another thing to note, and I think this answers the question on who the 7th Siren might be. In Borderlands 2, we get confirmation that Handsome Jack knows of 6 sirens in the galaxy, as I've said earlier. The Calypso twins were born on Necrotafeo, and since Necrotafeo isn't charted on any map and is an elusive planet, it's safe to assume that he didn't know about them. And since he didn't know about them, that means that the Calypso twins, when they were conjoined at birth, are the 7th Siren, making Nyriad the 7th Siren she warned should never be found. And now that both Troy and Tyrene are deceased, it makes you wonder who their powers will pass to, because unlike Nyriad, Tyrene, after she consumed Troy and became her full self, didn't die in a place where her powers would be locked away. So I can assume, given the amount of focus pointed at the vaults, the galaxy, and the sirens, that the next game, Borderlands 4 or whatever it's going to be called, will involve the 7th in some way, shape, or form. Now, of course, we don't really know, but if we get any more info on this subject, I'll be sure to make another video on the topic. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this video, Borderlands, or its lore, you can leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to read each and every one of them. Thanks for watching.